We're live. We're live. I got caught sleeping there, didn't I? Completely caught sleeping. Right, there's a few folk online. Once we just checked that it is live. It is live, isn't it? Yeah, it's live. All's fine. Just this computer's running slow. And it's adverts. There we go. Who's on tonight? Who's all right? There's not 11 o'clock online. Quiet, isn't it? Really quiet. Right, anyway, let's get down to it. Brendan Rodgers was asked about Rio Hatate. Obviously, Rio Hatate's injury. They said they're not too sure about it. They'll need to wait a couple of weeks. And it's an interesting one because it was his other leg that was injured last year. Celtic will look to get to the bottom of Rio Hatate's fitness issue as they wait to learn the extent of his latest layoff. Then, well, was he in form? He was just getting back to a bit of form, Rio Hatate, after being on the sideline. After suffering another injury at the beginning of the season. That was a hamstring injury. Also, the Japanese international had about 6 weeks out, I'm sure, the last time. So it'll be interesting to see how long. That was a calf injury. What is a calf that was out at the end of the season, the start of the season? Speaking ahead of the game at the weekend, he said, "We don't have a definite timeline, but it would definitely be for a few weeks. We're just waiting to see how it settles down and waiting for the results." It looked a really bad one. If you watch the first 35 seconds of the game, he overstretched. He felt it early on. It's a shame for him. It's a difficult one. He was out with the hamstring last year. He was out with calf at the start of the season. And it gives Paulo Bernardo his chance. It gives the Portuguese midfielder his chance, who obviously replaced Hatate on Wednesday. But it's now up to Paulo to claim that spot. Rodgers said, although we coped very well on Wednesday, we have to remember there's a number of young players that can step up if Rio is going to be out for a period of time. It always presents an opportunity, a bit like what Liam Scales has had the opportunity that he had with injuries. For any player who's coming in without forcing it, you want to make an impact. It was interesting when Brendan said that about the bringing players in. He said, look, we're not playing under 10s here. You don't have to give every player a shot on the pitch. He says they have to work for it. That's when he was talking about Mikey Johnson. Mikey Johnson, and he was like, look, he'll get his turn. It's a long season. We're not even, we're still at the early part of the season. We have to remember, it's only October still. It is October, but Rodgers did admit that switching to the 3-5-2 formation after the second half, he said, look, you're really proud of the team. He said, it's a system that we can play. I think we're progressing as a side. We're progressing as a good side. The cynics will always look and say, we've got 1 point for 3 games, but it's more than that. He says, when you look at this season, it's about the season and the season after that. We're becoming, the process is becoming a good side. Dynamic, fast, and a goal threat. Defensively compact and tight and aggressive. We need the games to come. We need the intelligence to change that tactically. And that's something that we're going to be working on, getting around to the 70-minute mark. It says we then change the team to a 3-5-2. You can really stretch your back four. It says, but there were spaces starting to open up in the game on Wednesday. I'll talk about the Hibs game in a minute. I want to talk about the changes. Obviously, at the end of the interview, Brendan Rodgers said, talking about the game changes at Christmas time, and I got a text about it, actually. If you look at the last 7 years that Brendan was talking about, where is it? When you look at the last, since 2017, we have played Dundee away, 2018 Aberdeen away, 2019 St Mirren away, 2020 Hamilton away, 2021 St Johnstone away, 2022 Hibs away, and 2023 Dundee away again. It was meant to be the 27th of December, 27th of December, which would have been a midweek nighttime game, but then that's now been changed. In the wisdom of Sky, that's been changed to the 26th. So Boxing Day at 3:00. It basically ruins Boxing Day for fans, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's just been changed for football. It's about time that Scottish football tells Sky to do one, in my opinion. And start selling the rights online around the world. And Celtic were bound to be able to make more money than what the stupid Sky deal is. And in the same Rangers since 2017, this won't surprise anyone on the channel. This won't surprise anyone at all. 2017, they had Motherwell at home. 2018, they had Hibs at home. 2019, they had Kelly at home. 2020, they had Hibs at home again. 2021, they had St. Mirren at home. 2022, they had Motherwell at home. 2023, they had Ross County at home. So the game between Christmas and New Year is always a game that is a good game. I think one of the times we actually beat Sevco, and that's probably the reason that they made sure that we didn't get a home game after that. I think it was about 2015, 2014, if I remember right. We beat Rangers. No, it must have been before then. Must have been before they died. Long time ago then. Yeah, so I think something needs to be done about it because it's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, we are away to Dundee on the 26th. It is a 3:00 kickoff. Will that bring remnants of the Dundee riot back in the day? I don't know what the Dundee riot was. It was Celtic fans were having a good time in the game in between Christmas and New Year. Anyway, let's get back to what Brendan Rodgers said. Brendan Rodgers questioned whether someone was making tricks over the festive fixtures to the club. Dundee was moved to Boxing Day. Rodgers expressed he wasn't impressed, to put it that way. He wasn't impressed. You could see it on his face. It's not ideal. Obviously, you would have preferred the way it was, especially at that time of year. It's actually interesting. He went on to say, I'm pretty sure it's correct, that the last 7 years Celtic have been away at this period of the season. The fact that they've changed it from the 27th to the 26th it's all about one thing, and it's changed for the TV. The TV was it's killing the Scottish game. It's killing the Scottish game. It's an absolutely crap TV deal that we've got, and it's killing the Scottish game. Fans having to travel up to Dundee for a 3:00 kickoff on the 26th of December is absolutely disgusting. Fans will travel all over from that game. You'll get the whole load of buses coming from everywhere, and they'll need to leave at least 3 hours before kickoff. At least 3 hours before kickoff, maybe even 4 hours before kickoff for that game. And I think on Boxing Day, it's just ridiculous. It's meant to be a time for families and everything. And, it's just, we've sold our soul to the devil. Absolutely sold our soul to the devil. Either way, been drawn home and away for 7 years. It's not right. It's not right for supporters, Brendan Rodgers says. And it's time this club started looking at these type of things. Celtic supporters, right after Christmas, it's just been it just annoys the living daylights at you because I know a lot of folk that still go to games, and it's unbelievable. Celtic have put it. Anyway, move on from that. Let's talk about the training. I want to talk about the training pictures that were released by Celtic today also, because there were some interesting things. Obviously, after the adrenaline of playing Atletico Madrid, there wasn't too many snoods today, which was thankfully, it must have been a little bit warmer at Lennoxtown. You look at Brendan Rodgers in the pictures, he's nice and smiley, back off the thumping of Hearts. Can we do a double thumping in Edinburgh? Thumping of Hearts, and then the Champions League, which was a fantastic display. And then it's on to Hibs this weekend. If you look at Scales, and he looks to Scales, it's just the man of the moment just now. But he has been the man in the moment. Matt O'Reilly he's excelled this season. But the big one is Palmer. Palmer given the peace sign, or was it the 2 in a row sign? He's going to score. He reckons he could score again this weekend. And you look at Paulo Bernardo. Paulo Bernardo's going to get his chance this weekend. Big weekend for Paulo. Looks like he's going to start the game. The Benfica loanee was obviously brought in after Rio Hatate went down injured, and it'll be interesting to see how he starts the game. Will O get a game? A lot of people wasn't too surprised with the fact that Kyogo was brought off. He was looking as if he was starting to tire. Is it time to rest Kyogo for this game, especially with the fact that we're going away to Real Madrid just in over a week's time, away to Real Madrid? Is it the case that we should bring O on and let O start this game? it's a question. I mean, it's when you go to think about the team, you obviously want to go with your strongest team, but the South Korean striker, I don't want him to go down the same road as the Greek and be frustrated with game time. He was obviously, he didn't get on against Atletico Madrid, even though we went to a 3-5-2. So it's one of those moments. Does he get a start for Hibs? Is he the type of player that can score against Hibs? Is he done enough? Is his scoring record good enough? I mean, we've got other players that can score, but would you start this weekend? Then you have to be saying, what about Iwata? Iwata has only played 76 minutes worth of football this season. But just a reminder that, he did get that goal against Hearts the weekend before. And last weekend, he got that goal against Hearts. Could he start instead of Paulo Bernardo? There's one that's worth thinking about. And then that way it would push Callum McGregor further forward. Big Ohm, he's been excluded for the last 2 match days, all because he got that red card in the Champions League. But can he force his way back into the squad? Can he force his way back into the squad this weekend? I'm not even going to try and pick a team this weekend. Trying to pick a team for this weekend after the Champions League, you know that Brendan's going to change it around a bit, but you need to keep the momentum going. We really need to keep the momentum going. Right, let's get to some of the comments and see what you're saying in the comments section, because I've rambled on for over 11 minutes now. Paul McGoon says, hail, hail. Paul Emery says, hail, hail, boys and girls. Hail, hail from North London. Patrick Toner is in the house. Sean's in the house. Hail, hail, troops. Tam Mack is in the house. Sean Short's in the house. GTB Boys in the house. Jamie Young is in the house. Let's get some of these comments up just to get it a bit more inclusive. Jamie Young, we don't have a buyout clause, Baz. A buyout clause for who? Who are we talking about? Hail, hail, Baz. Give us the news. Give us the news. And then the first British team to win the European Cup. Now we've forgotten. Yep. And someone posted that in the comment section on the community tab, saying that that Celtic weren't the first British team to win the Champions League. Manchester United were. Anyway, what an absolute nonsense comment. Paulo Bernardo will take Hatate's place. I think he will do, and I think it's important that we get him in and show what he's worth. I mean, we've seen what Iwata can do, but has Iwata done enough to play that sort of midfield role? He plays more in the role that Callum McGregor plays. I think Paulo Bernardo has done fantastic, and he was thrown in early, never let us down. He'll yep. There's a cracker comment. The Green Brigade will raise more this weekend than the SPFL pays Celtic. You're probably right with that. He'll, guys. He'll, Paul Rimley. I would love it if we played this summer. It would take away this travelling up and down the country at Christmas. Changing the league format is something that Northern European countries do, because let's face it, they get absolutely terrible winters. Scottish football's never going to do it, because even it's a cold time of year, it just wouldn't happen, because there's too many competitions on during the summer, which will get in the way of club football. So I can't see it changing anytime soon. And I think the fact that we only have a 2-week break, we have a winter shutdown, and it's 2 weeks, and then the clubs go off on a little jolly, which is absolutely mental. Paulo Bernardo seemed knackered after the 70-minute mark, says Gary. I think the whole team looked knackered because they put that much into it. Mikey Johnston had his chance so many times. Soap Dixon, get rid. He's never. Yep. Everyone. It's split. It's split between the Mikey Johnston cap. Some people want to keep him. We're going to keep him purely for the fact that we need a number of Scottish players. That's the only reason. That's the only reason that we're going to keep Mikey Johnston. I am afraid. The manager did say, look, Mikey will get his chance. It's a long season. We're only a quarter of the way into the season. And he said that Mikey Johnston will get his chance. Did you see Bernardo's stats? They had more passes in the game than Dyson, who had 35. He had over 40. But I never seen that, Jeff, but that's an interesting one. Well done for Brendan to speak it up. Yeah, I think it's time that the club started speaking up about these type of things, because Football's meant to be a game for fans. It's meant to be a game for spectators, and right now it's not. Right now it's not. Everything. I mean, are we fans or are we customers? And that's what it's down to. Are we fans or are we customers? And I think TV sees us as just customers. TV sees us as customers that they could sell a product to. The clubs are starting to see us more as customers also. And, it's the fans that go to games that make the product. And we've been speaking about this a lot on this channel. And it's, this whole nonsense with reducing allocation is bad for the product, trying to sell the product. And game times, changing a game time from, 7:45 kickoff time would have been a fantastic time up in Dundee. But then the police and that would have got involved and went, wait a minute, we can't have Celtic fans enjoying themselves all day and then going to a game at Dundee on the 27th. Let's make it the 26th so they can't enjoy their Christmas. They can't have a drink in the morning because we'll make it an earlier kickoff. Anyway, we'll move on for that. He's had no game time, surprised he was knackered. Yeah, he needs to get game fitness. Paulo Bernardo really needs to get that little bit of game fitness. Once he gets that, you'll probably find that he's a fantastic player, a bit like Louis Palma. Louis Palma came on to a game. I'm taking Louis Palma to score this weekend again. I think he's got it in him. I think he's making everyone go, wow. Who was Jota? He's not at Jota's level yet, but you never know. Gary says he only played an hour. At that point, you'd be looking for more if he hasn't played loads. Not really, Gary, because when it comes to game fitness, it's completely different for having that fitness just running about the pitch. So when you've got the fitness when you're just running about the pitch at training, it's a bit more intense in game because you're thinking more. You're thinking more of what's happening in the game and everything, and you're having to run against competition. That's just my take on it. And then anyway, right, the board showed more ambition. We would be a top European team. Would be a top European team. Would we be a top European team? For us to be a top European team, we would have to spend quite a bit of money. And when Brendan Rodgers was asked today, he said, when you're looking at the European progress, are you thinking 2 or 3 seasons down the line? And this would press the media trying to basically say to him, are Celtic taking this season on the chin and looking at it as progress and how far we can take these players? Now, Brendan Rodgers said, look, so when you play at this level, you have to play at this level every year. The fact that we played it last year and we weren't that good, he says we need to play it every year, and it's about the players progressing every year. You need to keep a nucleus of a squad also for that to happen. When you look at a lot of the top teams in Europe, they tend to have a nucleus of a squad that's been there for 3 or 4 years. You don't get many of the top teams in the later stages of the Champions League that have just come together or have only been together 2 or 3 seasons or are a really young team. There's not many teams they're going into the last 16 that have an average age around about 24. If anyone knows any different, send me the stats and then we'll talk about that. Lost momentum after Palmer was subbed. Bernardo looks good. The legs will come good when he gets more games. I think that is true. We did lose the momentum, but there was also the formation change at the weekend. Well, we go to a 3 this weekend against Hibs. We didn't do it against Hearts. When away from home, I would like to see us going to a 3-5-2, but Brendan says he likes to have a squad that has that ability. He likes to have a team that has that ability to start off at a 4, and then if the game needs it, we need to change it up a bit, and we need to try and it's all about dominating that midfield and pushing forward. And I think this is what Brendan was alluding to. I think this is you're going to see a little bit of difference at Celtic when we play a 4 at the back, and there's teams basically camping in on their own 20-yard box, their 18-yard box, sitting in 20 yards out, 25 yards out, two banks of 4, and then 2 just sitting in front or even in the mix. I think you're going to see Brendan changing it to a 3-5-2 to try, so it gives us that option to give us a bit more space. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened a lot more in the next couple of weeks. Paul Baird says yes, to start. Kyogo ripped the Madrid defence apart. Now, did Kyogo do it on his own, or was it the fact that Matt O'Reilly, him and Matt O'Reilly have a connection that I've never really seen at Celtic since not even John Hartson and the King of Kings. I would say more Sutton. They know he knows where the positions he's going to run into, and that's why it's important keeping a team. We're talking about progressing in Europe. We need to keep this team together, the nucleus of this team together for the next 2 or 3 seasons to get that progress. So that'll just come. It'll come. But I think that Kyogo did rip their defence apart, and it was that pace. But that also came because of the other players in the team and the positions that they were getting into, which allowed Kyogo to make the runs. Jeffrey says, I think Bernardo needs to start the game, get the games under his belt. I think he will start. The away allocation for tomorrow, it'll be the full stand as normal at Hibs. We always get the full stand behind the goals, and it'll be the same tomorrow. Mary says, hail, hail, everyone. And Jenny also says, hail, hail. Yeah, a lot of new people on the night. That's quite good. That's welcome to the lives. And I hope you enjoy them and hope you come back and view some more of them. Not just the British team, but the first non-Latin team. We're talking about the Champions League. Yep, we are. Celtic were the first non-Latin, Spanish and Italian team to win the Champions League, and that's something that shouldn't be forgotten. Anyway, let's get to some more. I would keep Mikey Johnson, says Paul Baird. We need to keep him purely for the Scottish aspect. The Scottish quota of players, unless we can go out there, and it's something that I alluded to this morning. Is there any other player out there in the Scottish League or in the Scottish national team, out with McTominay and out with the guy that plays for Liverpool? Is there anyone there that can step into this Celtic team? Obviously, you'd love to go for somebody like McTominay, but he's the other side. When you look at the lads for Liverpool, he's Celtic through and through, but he's never going to leave Liverpool to come to Celtic. Not a chance. I mean, there was all this talk about people wanting Kieran Tierney back, but would Kieran Tierney fit into the way that we're playing just now, especially if we go to a back three? These ads are brutal. How many ads is there on the front? You should be able to skip the ads. I've changed the settings. You should be able to skip the ads. Anyway, right. Scales is a true rebel. The Celtic Paul Baird says the Celtic board sees as cannon fodder under the Tories. Yep, I can't disagree with you with that, Paul. Palmer's confidence must be sky high. Of course it is. I'm taking him to score tomorrow. If there's any player that you think will score tomorrow, I would go first on it is Palmer. Palmer to score any time. That's going to be a bet that is worth having every week from now on. Dan says, on the hoops, he should be given his chance at St Mirren in midweek. That's an interesting one. That is an interesting one. Should be given his chance. Sixth in the world. Rodgers unlucky not to be a level team. Is Rodgers unlucky, or is it the way that you've got to remember Rodgers is getting assessed on what he did the first time round at Celtic? Should he be compared to what he did the first time round? The stats is obviously all going to add up together, but I think if we had went out and bought the type of player that we thought we were going to buy at the last transfer window, the summer window, we all knew that we were about three players away from making us a good team in Europe. Louis Palmer's come in. If he was a couple of years older, and a couple of more years more experience, but then again, would we have got him for the money that we want? It'll be interesting to see how Brendan was asked about it, and he did say, "Look, are you thinking next year is where you want to hit the sort of try and hit second in the Champions League? Is that your sort of aim?" You could see that the questioning was going down that kind of road, but ultimately, we need to finish third this year, and that was always the case. We always needed to finish third in the Champions League. That hasn't changed, in my opinion. It was something I said before the season started, and we're going to have it really up against it now to try and get that third spot to get football after Christmas in Europe, and that's what it's all about. If we kept the gems, we find we could have never sold them on. Yeah, but then again, we wouldn't be in the position where we'd have £72 million in the bank. We wouldn't have £72 million in the bank, and the board wouldn't be happy. Player of the season has to be Scales so far. Yes, I would go with that. Gary, I would say it has to be Scales. Scales, for me, hats off to him. He's come in when he was that close going back to Aberdeen. He thought he was going back to Aberdeen, but luckily for us, well, unlucky for us, we've got a load of injuries, and he's turned out to be a fantastic player. With Phillips being in the squad, it gives us that ability to go to a 3 at the back, which is interesting. When was the last time we went to a 3-5-2? Tell me in the comments, when was the last time we played 3-5-2? Because it was way before Ronnie Dyler. I think Ronnie Dyler was the first one to go with one up front, was he not? Anyway, Celtic done amazing. I think we look leggy due to playing on Sunday afternoon. Definitely, John. When we look at, talking about playing on the Sunday when we've got the Champions League, this was the message that I got. The first game after Christmas since 2017. 2017, Dundee away, 2018, Aberdeen away, 2019, St Mirren away, 2020, Hamilton away, 2020. Oh, was that one? Hamilton away. Remember that. 2021, St Johnstone away, 2022, Hibs away, 2023, Dundee away. And then we're getting no help at all. And they're changing it for, it's a conversation for another day, is there's no pay-per-view this weekend. It's not on Sky. Hibs Celtic is usually a game that's on Sky. But because Sky have got a monopoly over the games and they've only got a certain number of games that they can play, Celtic Hibs is not going to be on the telly this weekend. Now, Hibs have decided not to make it pay-per-view, to make it one of their games that they can do pay-per-view for unknown reasons to them. So everyone's going to be jumping on fire sticks and trying to get illegal, and then that just hurts the game. Doesn't hurt the game, it just makes sure that you can watch it. And Palmer is quicker than we think. He glides like Rodgick. He glides like Rodgick. Do you think he glides like Rodgick, Jamie? I think he's got a bit of pace in him, but it'll be interesting to see how he progresses as a player over the next couple of weeks. Taylor's pass to Maida for Palmer's goal was fantastic. Seen it on Celtic TV. I've seen that as well. We'll squash every team in Scotland. Let us in an English Premiership. No thanks. I wouldn't thank you for going into an English Premiership. I don't think it'll ever happen. I'd love to see a more European league. If there was a European league, I would like to see that, because I think there's more chance of us making more money in a European, and it's a bit more prestigious. Going into the English Premiership and then playing the likes of Brighton and stuff on their grounds, and that doesn't excite me. It doesn't excite me at all. So no, I wouldn't like to see us in the English Premiership. I'd like to see us in a European league that was a proper European league. None of this nonsense like the Champions. The Champions League next year is going to be in a league format. I think that's only the beginning of the changes of going into a European league format on a more consistent basis, because it's the powers that be. Remember last season, a lot of the big clubs in Europe wanted to bring in the European Super League, because they were fed up with the likes of Manchester United and Barcelona and everybody getting all the rich pickings. Well, it was Barcelona that were pretty much behind it, because they wanted more money, because they see the TV deal that England are getting. England are the only people that see the English Premier League as the best league in Europe is the English, and that's it. That's it. People in Europe do not see the EPL as the best league in Europe. They definitely don't. People in the British Isles maybe think that, but it is what it is. Anyway, Matt has done class setting up Kyogo's goal. He did that. I read earlier that the game has not been televised. Yes, Patrick, it's not been televised. That's what I was just talking about. Sorry if I'm just catching up with the comments. When you look at it, it's an absolute disgrace that Celtic Hibs is always a televised game, especially away. It's always a televised game, but it's not this weekend. And Portuguese Baz beat Diva won that. No, they need the nucleus of the team. Yeah, they're talking about the team progressing in the Champions League. We need the nucleus of the team to be together for the next 5, 6, 7 years, mate. And then I think that's when you see Brendan Rodgers, he did this the first time round. You got to remember this. He put a lot of important players on 4 or 5 year deals, bigger contracts, bigger wages, and that was the nucleus of the team that went to 9 in a row. Jamie said we love McTominay. I'm sure he's a zombie, Jamie. I might be wrong, but I think he's one of them. Palmer does look a bit like Rodgick, says Neil. Mikey's still class as a Scottish player after all, playing for the Republic. Yeah, that's it. He's still classed as Scottish, even though that's a strange one. That is it because he came through the youth system at Celtic. I'm sure it's something to do. And it's about time that we bring a lot of these players in for the youth. Why don't we treat every week like a Champions League match, and we might get somewhere? Oh, controversial Paul's said that. We we pretty much demolished Hearts last week. It's hard to play like we did in the Champions League, Paul, because teams sit back and it's a different type of game. Atletico Madrid was trying to come forward in spells in the first half, and it was an open game. You don't get that in Scotland. Different manager who's involved in training sessions has improved manager signings. I'm going to sorry if I've missed some of your comments. Neil Lennon against Lazio. Neil Lennon against Lazio in 2019, was he the last man to go 3-5-2? Well, there you go. I can't remember him playing 3-5-2 tonight, but anyway. Cash 22, cash in the bank, or players. Yep, it is that. Phyllis should not be even anywhere near Celtic, says Paul Baird. Baz, you coming on tomorrow before the game? Yep, I will do. I'm going to the pub to watch the game. I'm not sure what pub yet. But if I don't do it live from here, I might do it live from the pub. I'll see. Phillips straight back down the road after Turkey. Yep, he will be after he's had his. In fact, he'll probably not even get to have his Christmas dinner. He'll be sent back right down the road. Brighton are doing better in Europe than us just now. You should welcome the EPL, even if we come calling. Much better league, better money involved, even with the shitty competition. I think, do you know what? Would you really sell your soul? Now, Declan, do you go to games? Because the guys that go to games every week would probably say you can ram going down to England. I mean, Celtic fans would do it. I know they would do it. I know quite a few bus conveners that still run buses. They would fill buses easily to go to away games. I don't know what it's like for trying to get tickets for away game grounds. Watch-alongs for the Champions League nights. Yep. Watch-alongs for the Champions League nights. Is that the way forward? I could do that for the Celtic ones. Should we do it for some other teams on the other channel that we started? Yeah, we'll see. Send Phillips back. If we send Phillips back, we need to get Rocky some game time. We need to definitely, it was asked that if Rocky was going to get some game time. If we get some game time for Rocky, he could go as part of the three at the back. And I think going to 3-5-2, if we do decide to go 3-5-2 on a consistent basis, we need to get in another striker. Is the type of player that can play beside Kyogo? I'm thinking not, because when we've seen the two of them together, they kind of get mixed up. They don't read each other like what Matt O'Reilly does. They're not a Chris Sutton and Henrik Larsson. They don't feed off each other. I don't know. More watch-alongs for the Champions League night. Yeah, that done all right, that watch-along. I might do it again. Yeah, probably will. It depends, because sometimes when I'm at the pub and we can get a video of everyone at the pub, they videos take a bit better. So that's the only thing that's stopping me doing the videos of the Champions League games, because sometimes the live videos, believe it or not, don't get as much views as the pre-recorded videos, which is completely strange because YouTube are trying to push the whole live format. Maida, Super Maida, yep, it is that. Right, let's talk about Hibs. Obviously, we played Hibs this weekend through to Edinburgh. It isn't on telly, which is absolutely terrible. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Been a while since we've had a 3 o'clock kickoff, especially away game, but there is a TV blackout. It's not going to be on Sky, it's not going to be on TNT, and it's not going to be on Hibs pay-per-view. How many people took up the option for the pay-per-view when it was on Motherwell? It will be streamed on Celtic TV outside the UK and Ireland, so we'll get it on Celtic TV in the mainland Europe. If you have a Fire Stick, you'll be able to watch it on Celtic TV there. Who is the referee in charge? The referee is Alan Muir. He's refereeing this one. The assistants are going to be Dougie Potter and Jonathan Bell and Matthew McDermott. The fourth official, Don Robertson, while Alan Mulvaney is going to be in control of VAR. I think it's a big shout this weekend, obviously, after Rio Hatate being off. Leo Labada and Stephen Welsh are the only other two that remain Long-term injuries. Marco Tillo, will we see him anytime soon? I don't think so. Rocky will be included in the squad. I think he will make the bench. He's not been included for a while. He could return after Rodgers said that he'd been doing good in training, but I think he needs to fight for his position like everyone else. I think he will make the bench, but that'll be about it. The front three, you know who they're going to be. I mean, I'm saying it's going to be Kyogo. Will it be Kyogo or will O get a shout? That's the big one. What do you think the score will be? There's the first one. And let me see this one. Baz, what do you think about the red bit on the Sevco Celts? I've seen this one before, and I'm not really bothered about it. They can up to their knees in Fenian blood all they want because they're just a horrible bunch of people. And anyway, so Hibs gives us the full stand tomorrow. It shows how Petty and Budge and our Swinecastle crew are. Yep, Hibs are one of the only teams. I'm sure they've still got the full stand. Surely they've still got the full stand. I can't see Hibs going back. I could ask the question. Give me 2 seconds and I'll ask. I'll ask some of the guys that are running buses. See, I'll get a response if anyone's about. 3-0, Zest going for 3-0 tomorrow. And I couldn't concentrate on the live the other night. I was far too busy fighting with the crap box. I've got Fire Stick. The Fire Stick all the way. Celtic will have played 3 games in 6 days coming on Saturday. Can't be right. It is what it is. You know, the SPFL seeing it in their wisdom to get us playing on a Sunday before a Champions League game. It gives the players the Monday rest back in training on the Tuesday and then the game on the Wednesday night. They're doing absolutely nothing to help the Scottish teams at all, if you ask me. Although Sevco are playing on the Sunday. Tom would like to see O getting some more game time. I'd like to see him getting some more game time. Oh, yep, we're definitely I've just had confirmation. We're getting the full behind the goals tomorrow. That's confirmation for guys that are running buses to the game. So yeah, we get the full stand tomorrow. So it just shows you how petty and budget that has been. I think it adds to the atmosphere. It definitely adds to the atmosphere. Getting the full stand behind the goals, and it should be done at every away ground, if you ask me. But then, I stopped going to games in March 2020. And if anyone had said to me in March 2020 that would be the last time I went to a Celtic game for a few years, I'd have slapped them round about the head. But then it is what it is. Keep the faith, says Norman. Keep the faith. Any win tomorrow will do. 5 or 6-0 for the Celts. 5 or 6-0. That's an interesting one. 5 or 6-0. I'm going to go out and say, it's going to be 4-0 tomorrow. Although Hibs have changed manager again, I think they will be a bit more defensive. But I'm going to write this down. I'm going to go for 4-0. I never usually go for quite high score lines. Where is Stuart Ramsey tonight? Because we always like to get Stuart on and get his predictions because he's won quite a few bucks doing it. I'm going to go for 4-0 Hibs Celtic. Yeah, I'm going for 4-0 tomorrow. So I'll write that down in there. 0-4. I'm going for 4-0 tomorrow. So give me your scoreline. What do you think it'll be? I think it'll be 4-0. I've just got a funny feeling that we've got that good scoreline against Hearts. I just think we've got a lot of goals in us. And when you've got a team that was in the Champions League playing the way that we did, I think the confidence in the squad just now is going to be absolute. This squad, I'll think that they can do anything in the league, especially after playing against players. I mean, there was one player that was valued more than our entire squad. When you, Stuart, say, well, yeah, I think so. Paul Baird says 3-0, 2-1. Says John, Paul Baird's going for 3-0. I'm going for 4-0 because I think we've got a 4-0 in us. I think a clean sheet. But that's the big question. Will we keep a clean sheet? It's okay saying that we can score 4 goals, but as we've proven in the last 2 games, we've never kept a clean sheet. So Helen's going for, I don't do score predictions. They always jinx. Yeah, Tarmac, I'm the same. But that's like I never watch a Sevco game because every time I watch Sevco, they win. Paul Emery's going for 3-1 is Celtic. Cuntburn's got 4 against them, so we'll do one better, says Sean. That was at Ibrox, though, wasn't it? That was at Ibrox. So I think away from home, I'll take a 4-0 all day long. Take a 4-0. Diane's going for 3-0. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Definitely. The fact that it's not on the telly is disappointing. If you want to watch it, you need to get yourself a Fire Stick or those dodgy boxes that used to go around in the UK a few years ago. 3 losses and 3 visits is the record. Brendan Rodgers had. He beat them 3 times. Oh, wait a minute. Going through Leafs and he's had 3 special charge. The first. Really? Oh, there you go. Brendan Rodgers hasn't got the best record there. That's different times. I mean, talking about what happened way back then. There's breaking news tonight, and we've been waiting on this one coming. Let me just get this to load. The big breaking news is Celtic have been hit with a hefty fine for UEFA over an offensive banner displayed during the Lazio game. Why is that just coming? That's not fucking nonsense headline. They're just getting out the fine for the Lazio game. Oh, who cares? It's an interesting one because you get a lot of the Scottish media and everybody going on about the fines for Celtic, right? When you see some of the pictures of the pyro that goes on in and around Europe and some of the displays that go on about Europe, is there ads every 5 minutes? There can't be ads every 5 minutes. Sean, surely. Wait till I go on this. There cannot be ads every 5 minutes. YouTube Studio. Give me 2 seconds because YouTube are changing things and it's an absolute nightmare. But there cannot be ads playing every 5 minutes. Surely. Not on a live. Let me just change this content. Anyway, tell me your scores. And I'm still going for 4-0 as the computer decides to run slow. There should not be ads running through a live. There's never been ads running through a live before. So I don't know why there's ads running through a live today. Just let me do this. No, there shouldn't be ads going through a live. There's nothing to say that there's ads running through a live on this, so I don't know what is going on your end, but there's I've had ads start since we started. I've had 2 ads since we started. That's unbelievable. Well, YouTube's changed something for you guys because I'm looking at the section where the ads are, and there's nothing ticked for ads to be playing through a live. So that's YouTube just being at it. No ads here says, okay, well, I've had 2 ads since we started. Sam Mac, I'm not getting ads every 5 minutes, never. That's a weird one. Evening, Baz. Martin says he's getting ads. Anyway, YouTube is just, Tam Mac's not getting them. I have no idea. Right, let's get some. There's a 5-0 one. 5-0, 4-1, O'Reilly. Good for a goal. Win as usual tomorrow, says Estapona boy. What's the weather like down by you today? It was pretty cloudy up here this morning, but then it got hot this afternoon. Smell the gloves says 3-1. There's a 5-1. Gary says 3-1. And yeah, I've had ads through the lives before, but not here. That's an interesting one. Pork chops. Well, I've never had ads on a live, but not on here anyway. Right. Now you've all thrown me. Let's get back to, is there any Celtic news kicking about? I mean, it's all about the teams tomorrow. I will do a live tomorrow morning I don't know if we'll do a live at the back of 9 or if we'll do a live just before kickoff. And there are now ads in the house. 7-0 there, rubbish, Martin. 7-0. No, that was 7-0. Do you think, have we got a 7-0 in us? Have we got a 7-0 in us? We've got a high scoring game in us, but the fact that if you pay 10 months on YouTube, you get free ads. Yep, I know. I'm trying to force people to cough up. Yeah, I think that's what YouTube are doing. They keep on asking me to pay that. And I'm like, nope, not paying it. Not paying it at all. 7-0. 7-0. Do we have that kind of score in us? I think yes, but we need to be really on fire. Need to be really on fire. Martin says, just had to skip an ad. That's unbelievable. There's ads playing on the live. YouTube is just completely at it now. Martin says that we do have a 7-0, especially if the Sevco can beat them 4-0. 4-0. I think we'll beat them, but Celtic land another fine for lots. See, this is all you're going to get now. Celtic land fine for lots. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. When you look at some of the displays and everything that go on around in Europe, UEFA must be making a fortune from clubs that get fined. That would be interesting. Do UEFA release a document that shows every club that gets fined? I'm going to have to look into that. Cloudy Baz. Unbelievable. I don't know why it's doing that. I need to try and have because there's nothing on my side. You should get an ad, a skippable ad at the beginning, and that is it. There's no mid-roll ads clicked. You got a before ad, and that is it. So Sky are just milking it now. Milking it. Absolutely. It must be. I think if we go 3-0 up, we'll take our foot off the gas. I think if we go 3-0 up, we'll change the formation. I think if we go 3-0 up, you'll get players coming off. And that is what will upset the apple cart and will slow things down. Yep. The New Forest. There you go. Happy birthday to Shug Gallagher. Yeah, we'll get that one up. And with that being said, we have been going for 47 minutes. I can't understand ads. CNN paying YouTube Premium. I have no idea why these are getting ads. Right. The big, you know, that headline's going to be tomorrow morning. The headlines are going to be all over the media. Celtic land another bumper fine for Lazio. Pyro, an offensive banner by the Green Brigade. As the Green Brigade defy the plea of the board. Fraser Foster makes a claim about Celtic as he looks back on his football career. That's an interesting one. So Fraser Foster, we're just going to go in with this one just to see what Fraser Foster has been saying, because obviously Fraser Foster was the keeper that got us to the 9 and then decided, I don't fancy a bit of it. Fraser Foster had a varied career, from obscurity. This one says, I'm not even going to read it. That's an absolute terrible article. See, when you get some articles sometimes and you think it's going to be an interesting one, and it's absolute rubbish. Right. Happy birthday to Shug. I can't see ads. Don't know if it's called CNN or play YouTube Premium. If you're on YouTube Premium, you won't see any ads. Don't know what it's about. Palmer penalty, Cannonball Kid. Yep, I think he has to be starting taking penalties if we get a penalty away at Hibs. I can't see that. It would be interesting if we do. Who will take the penalty? And that's it. That's it for the night. I am done and dusted. I've done enough. My throat is killing me just now. Bit run down, but we keep going. There will be a video goes up tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, Celtic Park time. And then we will do some kind of live as the teams get announced an hour before kickoff. So that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic, a fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit, roll up to the party.